let's say someone's okay with believing in God, but they're not religious, can we still have a relationship with God? How important is being religious? Or maybe some people use the term orthodox, or whatever term you use. How important is that in having a relationship with God? Is it not important? Is it important, but I could have a relationship otherwise? Um, our relationship with God has nothing to do with religion. There is no obligation in the Torah to identify as religious. And there is no value in identifying as religious. Zero value. Not only there's zero value, but identifying as religious or identifying as irreligious prevents people from connecting to God. And we're going to say how right now. Right? Religion is commonly viewed as a status or identity, but it's very dangerous. Why? Because identifying as non-religious someone could go through the thought process that if I'm not all in, then what's the point of doing anything? I'm not religious. I'm not part of that group. So why should I do this? Why should I go halfway if I'm not religious? I have to identify as my group of non-religious people, right? And by the way, I get this a lot of the time is when I, we stop people on the street and ask them, would you like to have a quick moment? Would you like to put on tefillin? And a big answer I get is, I'm not religious. I'm not religious. But who cares? Right? Who cares? Who cares if you're religious or not? And identifying as religious. There's a big issue with identifying as religious. Because if I look religious and I'm mostly religious, there can't be much wrong with my little misdoings, right? If someone's religious, now I could take the day off. Why? I'm religious. You're going to ask me any questions. You're going to say, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I do this? What do you mean? I'm religious. It's like a good excuse. It's a good, I could go down when I die one day, they'll write on my gravesite that I was a religious man. So now I could do whatever I want. I could be disrespectful. I could, I'm religious. And it's horrible to think that way, because there's no value in religion. In the Torah, it never says to be religious. Judaism is not about attaining a religious state. Judaism is about serving and connecting with God, which is accomplished through mitzvot. And including in mitzvot is loving and fearing God, the emotional part as well, and the actions as well. That's what it's about. Now, if that's what it's about, we're not going to use the term religious and irreligious Jews. Rather, the term is Jews who connect often and Jews who less frequently, right? And just because someone isn't doing the physical commandments or keeping Shabbat, keeping kosher, maybe they're doing the emotional commandments of loving and fearing God. And maybe the non-religious Jew is actually more connected to God than the religious Jew, because they're fulfilling the commandment of prayer or loving and fearing God. And the religious Jew is just doing the act, right? So, and the same thing goes with defining Judaism as Reform, Conservative, or Orthodox. Same issues. There isn't three religions, and there is no commandment in the Torah to be Reform or to be Orthodox. It's never mentioned in the Torah. It doesn't say, thou shalt be Orthodox. No. And therefore, it doesn't matter of consistency. It's always worthwhile to enhance our relationship with God. And therefore, if I have a chance now to spend 2 minutes with God, it doesn't matter if I'm irreligious. I should spend those 2 minutes with God. And if I'm religious, I should also always try to spend as much time I can with God. Now, the question I get a lot is there a point in doing one mitzvah, one commandment, putting on tefillin one time, maybe letting Shabbat count as one time, and then never doing it again? Is there a point in that? I didn't follow the steps, right? It was supposed to lead to being more religious, and I only did it and went backwards. Not only, what if I'm going to do one thing and I'm going to go backwards? Is there a point, right? And the answer is absolutely yes, because it's a moment with God, and that moment is infinite. That moment is infinite, and God cherishes that moment infinitely, even a quick minute with God. And Maimonides says another idea is that we should value the world as equally balanced, and one mitzvah could tip the whole scale for good and could bring Mashiach, or bring the redemption. So not only is it special because it's a connection with God, it's special because it's valuable to the whole trajectory of Judaism. So it is very valuable. And that's why when people ask, oh, what type of synagogue do you have? Is it like an orthodox synagogue, or is it like conservative? Like, what type of synagogue do you have? And the answer is, it's none of that. It's a synagogue where a Jew could connect, a place where a Jew can connect with God, no matter of self-identification. And that's truly what every synagogue should be. Because religion is not a thing. So, in summary, I'm okay with believing God, but I'm not religious. Can we still have a relationship? Forget about religion and start building your relationship with God. And do a mitzvah, either a physical mitzvah or an emotional mitzvah or a spiritual mitzvah, any of the 613 listed in the Torah.